vast amount of defensive success you had without Rudy help you in any way to figure out maybe things that can happen with Rudy?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of our defensive success has been being able to apply pressure at the point of attack. I think that's been consistent for us all year. Just activity in and around the post was great. I'm not sure there's much to carry over, but having said that, we've done a lot with Rudy this year anyway, so we'll see what we maybe can do.
What was Rudy talking this morning about kind of just how comfortable he feels here, finding a home here? How do you see that playing out to just how well he has played and getting back to what he has always been?
I think it's crucial. I think, first of all, it's a tribute to everybody here and, the learning and growing we've done as an organization. To create an environment where players feel that way and express that, I think that's pretty cool. A lot of times when these trades happen, particularly for players who've never been moved before, we just take for granted that they're going to be great professionals and they're going to come in and do their job, and they, for the most part, they do. But the human side, it still takes a while to feel comfortable with all that change. I know last summer was huge for him. We had talked a bunch just about how he came to terms with it mentally, what he needed to do coming back into this season, whether it's just feeling more at home here or more of a part of the team, the organization, and connecting with his teammates and coaches and stuff like that. So it's just a process like anything else. And Rudy's a very thoughtful guy. He doesn't do anything without considering what he wants to do, how it's going to work out for him, how he's going to make him feel, how it's going to, most importantly for the basketball piece, make him perform at the highest level. He's come in with all that clean focus this year, and it's made all the difference.
Rudy said that from the first day of training camp, they made a pact to hold each other accountable defensively. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, I think it's, we have a culture of it here anyway. We're not afraid to hold people accountable. It's, our ability to hold our most important guys and our, stars and to hold them accountable first. From there, it's an open forum. Guys are very honest about their mistakes. They can get on each other and then they move on quickly. I don't think there's any threats. People don't take things personally, and that's all driven by if we can coach Ant and Kat and Rudy and these guys, if we coach those guys hard and necessarily in the right ways at the right times, then that sets the tone for everybody else.
Because the team never gets this much time off in the middle of the playoffs, especially sitting on a 2-0 lead. How beneficial is this span of 4 days?
I mean, ask me on Friday night, but we were able to travel back late, take yesterday as an off day, which is always beneficial, get a chance to physically rest. Today we're refocusing step by step. We got the plan in place to build it up to Friday. But you'd always, when you're playing in a good rhythm, you want to keep playing. But this team's been focused. The most impressed I've been with this team has been its focus, whether it be game plan, whether it be attention to the details, readiness, in practice, in shoot around, start of games. So this is another chance to just prove how focused and mature we are.
What was it like for you to sit where you were sitting the other day?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the most important thing for me was finding a way to be involved and active, and then also be in a place where I felt safe, where I wasn't going to catch anything that I couldn't get out of the way of. So that was all great. I could see easily. I could engage with the players. I could engage with the coaches. Our coaches have done an incredible job. We have a great staff here, and I trust them implicitly. And so it's pretty seamless, to be quite honest with you. My biggest concern was would it be disruptive or distracting to the players? And they've been all on board, and they flow easily with this stuff. So.
Can the officials hear you from where you're sitting?
Sometimes.
Because when you're a team, has good chemistry on the court, you tend to think offensive side.
Yeah.
When you watch your team, you see it on the defensive side. How do you create that?
Well, we talk a lot about communicating. Just understanding the game plan, understanding what our foundation is, communicating. But communication is a lot less about talking back and forth. It's more just kind of communicate with your intention, with your body language, with your decisiveness, and then you start to get a rhythm of understanding what your teammates are going to do. And I think our guys are really good at that. I think we've been through a lot of scenarios this year, game plan wise, where we've had to kind of create stuff on the flow or adjust on the flow because of our roster construction. And that's created a lot of things that we've had to work through. And now we've done it enough times, guys, kind of have a feel for that, what that is. But I think the chemistry also starts from watching everybody put the same amount of effort in.
Obviously, you guys have a good defense, and that played itself out statistically all year. But it felt like the other night was something on another level. You had even veteran NBA players and commentators saying they've never seen anything quite like that. How do you get that to that level?
I think it's like one of those. It's like offense. It just feeds itself after a while. We've gotten in a rhythm. Point of attack was really good. Disruption was really good. Rebounding was really good. And once we realized that we were able to kind of benefit from it, it kind of just fed itself. I think Nikhil said it the other night in his post game. He felt like guy was in a defensive zone. You don't hear that much, but it's the mindset of any great athlete. You want to get in that zone where things just feel automatic to you. But the hard part about defense is it takes a lot of work, and you got to do it every single time down. So we're going to be ready for Friday.
You talked about this before, how you and Tim just kind of talked to each other. Like you really had to commit to it when you made the birdies, right?
Yeah.
Like making it work. What was it like trying to maintain that, making sure you maintain that level of commitment and belief even through like the struggle pressure?
Well, I think when you look at the talent level, Rudy's extremely talented guy. He's driven a lot of winning in his career, and when he's on the floor, you have a chance to have a top 5 defense all by himself. What that looks like, I think, was always going to be a work in progress. Sometimes when you take away options and you don't give yourself like easy outs, it forces you to think differently. We were all excited to do the deal and bring him here. We knew we were taking a different path. At the time, going small with Cat wasn't going to be an option because, at the time our best player, Cat, was we're not taking him off the floor. And so how do we augment and be different in a league that was trending small? We felt like this gave us a chance to be different. So, it's a lot of creativity on the defensive part. And last year we learned a lot from Rudy, by what happened in Utah that was successful or not successful. And we were able to learn that and put it into play as we went through the season.
How much has Ant's defense improved in these playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's the consistency of his defense is definitely improved. He's always had the ability. I think during the regular season, more of a pick his spots guy and finish games with defense. Always loves the high leverage matchup though. That really gets his juices flowing. And everybody has specific skill sets in their defensive package, and it's always about finding guys that you can best employ those on. So, in this playoffs, he's been unbelievable on both ends of the floor, just making a ton of the right decisions and just being super high and consistent with it.
Do you have a plan where you'll watch from here and will be similar to Denver?
I do, but I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to go over to the arena tomorrow. We'll check that out. So.
Considering how multifaceted Jokic is on offense,
yeah.
You mentioned a couple times the point of attack being so vital.
Yeah.
Is that part of the kind of plan, like just avoid him touching as much as possible?
If you can, it's certainly you'd like to keep the ball out of any great player's hands, particularly when they're the hub of the offense. But he handles so much; it's really hard to do that. Or if he's not handling it, he's touching it every single time down, which is a credit to the way they play because they understand, what they're doing. So it's you just got to try to, fight him as much as you can. Keep changing it up on him. There's always the big debate: do you make him score? Do you make him pass? They both feel pretty uncomfortable to me. So you just got to try to wear him down.
How much is just this team's physical stamina, endurance, key to the way you've been able to play defense?
Oh, it's huge. You can't play defense at the level, put the effort in, unless you're in good shape. Our performance staff, our nutritionists, they do an incredible job keeping these guys, peak condition, and they get, the guys have played themselves into that mindset, and physically and mentally they don't get tired. So.
And Chris, when you made that trade for Gophers, did you envision what you saw happening tonight?
I mean, we envisioned that we could be really good defensively. Like I said, just for adding Rudy all by himself, what gives you a chance to have a top 5 defense. We knew there's a lot of things to figure out with matchups, like what you do at the 4 position every night. So I don't know. I would be lying to say, no, we had that as part of the master plan. But I would say that our defensive identity has been that all year long. All right, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Get that award again, and what it means to him to kind of recapture that. Just what your thoughts are.
Just really happy for him. He's worked real hard for it. He deserves it. It's obvious, what he's done to transform this team and his presence being on the team. So just super proud of him. Hopefully he'll get a 5th one now.
You've talked a lot about what the comfort level here with his teammates in the city, with everything that's met. How have you seen him kind of get more comfortable? What do you think that's done for his game?
I think he's just more, once he's comfortable, he's more confident. I think he's more vocal. He's more animated when he plays, which all kind of translates to what he does on the defensive end. I think he's feeling good. Guys are trusting him. He feels that being felt from our guys. I think he just becomes a much more comfortable player in filling out the game, gambling when he can gamble, knowing different times of the game to do that stuff. So hope that we're helping him a little bit.
How cautious do you have to be? You've got a team in a corner coming home a 2-0. How cautious do you have to be to not walk out there and think it's going to be real easy to get to 3-0?
Yeah, no, that's the luxury we have is we're playing the Denver Nuggets, so there is no room to be, relaxing or being comfortable. We know who they are. We know their pedigree. We know they're well coached and they're going to be prepared. So we're going to try to match that and try to exceed with their comfort.
Mike, when Rudy got traded here, he was still in Utah. What do you think about the way Minnesota was that big man?
Before I got here, I was interested in seeing how it was going to work. Honestly, I had no idea if it was going to be successful or not. Just from the outside, you just assume the game is going a different way, and they're trying to shake it up and do something different. So I was just, all eyes and ears, just trying to see what was going to happen and see how it was going to work out.
The defensive effort the other night felt exceptional even for you guys. What led to that, or what enabled that?
Man, I wish I knew. I honestly think, the absence of Rudy kind of put a little bit more pressure on everybody as far as the group's concerned, individually is concerned as well. Like, guys you didn't want to be that guy. You didn't want to be that guy not giving the effort. You didn't want to be that guy not being in the right spot, not communicating, because we knew that we didn't have Rudy back there to save us if something happened. So the team just kind of collectively got together and saw the efforts that were being put out there and put on a show for real. Like I haven't seen us play that hard or that aggressive and that connected in a long time.
Is it a luxury or a necessity to have broad-based leadership on a team? You've got you've got Gobert, you've got is that kind of a luxury for this, or is that kind of a necessity for a real good team?
Well, I think you got to have multiple guys. You got to have multiple guys who can command a role, guys who will listen, guys who will follow. Not all leadership is just being the guy in front and being able to tell everybody what to do. But you have to be able to listen to when people telling you something else and something you can improve on. And we have a lot of those guys who can do that and lead in a bunch of different ways, whether that's locally or with your effort or on the court, off the court. So we're lucky in that aspect, and it's been good so far.
Could you still hear your coach from where he sat the first 2 games?
Barely. Sometimes I have to go sit next to him a couple times just to get a real feel of what he's trying to get accomplished, because you can't really hear him that well. But Mike has done a great job, so far, being able to relay whatever coach needs to say.
How important has been just the physical endurance, stamina, the ways that you guys just expended energy on the defensive end, and making sure that maybe you're hopefully better conditioned?
Yeah, I think we knew this was coming. January, December, all those early months of the season, we were playing the same way. People just now probably watching us and thinking that this is a playoff intensity, but we play defense like that all the time, which helps you get a condition for these types of atmospheres. Can you play defense and run on offense? and do both for 4 quarters and not get tired. And that's what we've built ourselves up to do. And it's all kind of showing right now. We're able to not only do it for 3-4 plays in a row, but do it for a whole quarter. And the next group comes in and does it for a whole 5-6 minutes. Like, we need that from everybody, and everybody's been working off the court, on practice days and all that stuff to get ready for it.
We've seen some really good players and coaches get a little flustered against you guys. Is it your goal to take people out of the games, out of their headspace?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a goal. I think it's just a byproduct of what we do. We want to be physical. We want to be aggressive. We're actually trying to work on ourselves more than we are worried about the other team. Like, we're the team that kind of gets emotional sometimes and talks to the refs a lot, and we might complain here and there. And we've done a great job of not doing that so far this playoffs. We're just our head down, just worried about being aggressive and being physical, keeping that momentum going, and whatever they do, they do.
Like the other day, Finch credited Rudy for setting the defensive. How does it there?
I think with Rudy, honestly, that's all he talks about. That's all he don't talk about anything offensively, nothing about driving, kick, shooting threes. It's like you can make a three and be like, but the defense was great on the other, So it's just you're constantly hearing it, you're constantly being, put in front of your face. So I think he just made it, more of a priority for our team, and understanding that if we want to be great, we have to take care of this in the basketball and follow his lead on that part.
Like, out of all these playoff series, what makes
he's unique in a lot of ways, but I think it's just, his playmaking ability is what makes him so unique at his size. There's a lot of times he's the guy getting the outlet and bringing up the court like a point guard, and you don't see that very often, and he can make deliberate decisions on how to do anything too quickly. So he can make late plays and find guys when most people can't do that. And so it makes you have to always, you're always on guard, you're always engaged, no matter if you're off the ball or doubling him or whatever. And we already know what he does offensively as far as his game trying to score inside out. It's just a bunch of pressure that he applies to.
In the second half of game one, you and Nas assisted on each other 3 times. Were you consciously trying to get him going after that first half?
I think after he started going in the third quarter, I think we all were trying to get him the ball. When he gets hot, he gets going.
But you hit him for that layup and stride. That was his first points of the game.
I wasn't necessarily looking for him. I was looking for Ant first, and let Ant run through, and Nas was the next guy open. And I think from that point on, we all were just trying to make the right reads, and he was the beneficiary of a lot of that. And later in the game, he was actually in the right spots to be able to be receptive to certain passes and be aggressive like to be.
It's like the
Team in the corner, up 2-0 coming home. How careful do you have to be to not think you can just walk out there and make it 3-0 without a fight?
Yeah, I mean, we go in with our same mindsets. We approach every game ready to do what we do, and you know the history of that team. They're champions. There's a really competitive, really good players over there, and I think they've been down 3-1 or been down in series and come out and won the series. So we're not thinking about that. We just focus on what we got to do in order to be successful.
How would you just think of Rudy getting his 4th league DOI and what that means to him and to this group as in general?
Yeah, that's special, man. It's well deserved, and he's really anchored our defense all year, and he's really improved himself. And guys said that he can't switch on the guys and guard on the ball or guard smaller players, and he's done that this season. So it's really special and really well deserved. I think this is his best one.
He was talking about how much more comfortable he has gotten over time with the city, with the team, with everything. What have you just learned more and more about him since you first got to know him to where you are now, and what he brings to the table?
Just a really good teammate, and he cares a lot. All the things he does is well calculated in order for himself to perform and help our team, and he's really locked into from what he eats to how he carries himself to how he prepares to go out there and play well. He really does.
So what's he eat?
Super healthy stuff, but he's a foodie too. Like when we go out to dinner, he's into the tartare and the sashimi and then the hamachi and all that stuff. And I'll eat it with him too. So I'm not knocking it.
How Finch was talking about how impressed he's been with your guys' level of focus day to day. How have you seen that strengthen, and what do you think the key is to like maintaining that in these times?
Yeah, I think everybody just really wants to win. So we're locked in on Scout and Report, locked in on tendencies, personnel, you know, what we're doing as a unit. You got Ant watching film and knowing tendencies and knowing their plays and stuff like that. Like, that's big time. Cat, the same thing. So 1 through 15, everybody's locked in, and, you know, we're all on the string with this stuff.
Wow, when you signed here, I think it was a little bit before they traded for Rudy.
Right.
What did you envision kind of your first 2 years with the Timberwolves to be like back then versus kind of what's happening?
Yeah, well, I had liked the team that I had played against in the playoffs a month or whatever before, so I was really excited about that. Like, I thought I was coming to a team that was scrappy, played defense. They, they made rotations, things like that. I think you guys played like the fastest in the league or something like that. So that's what I thought I was getting myself into. And then things kind of did a little 360. But no, I love the culture around here. Finchy and Tim, they do a good job of making a great place for us to come to work and be ourselves. And everybody gets along around here. It's a really special culture.
You and Jokic have incredibly similar games in terms of what you try to do and how you approach it.
Yeah.
Is that something? Have you cribbed anything from him? Do you admire what he does?
Yeah, very much so admire what he does. I mean, he's just able to impact the game without scoring. And then if you watch the games and his teammates aren't going, he'll take over the scoring load. He's such a really special player. Like, you know, his high IQ is super high. He knows what to do out there. You know, defense. You know, he uses his smarts out there. Like, he's a really good player. Like, playing at his own pace, like he's almost unstoppable.
How you prepared for just the environment on Friday night, what these fans have started to bring, and what they're expecting kind of going into it?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun playing at the Target Center. It's been like, 3 games since we've played back at home, so I know our fans are going to be rowdy. Then you got Rudy's presentation before the game, right? So that's going to be special, and you know, it's a big game for us. It's almost a must-win. We got to go out there and compete. So can't wait to be in front of our fans.
What did you guys do differently or better the other night than you had done previously? Because that was an exceptional defensive performance.
That's y'all's job to say. No, just different personnel, and you know, so I don't want to say we made adjustments, but maybe just a little different edge out there. You know, you got Rudy, the rim protector, when he's out there. This time we had to keep guys in front and be scrappy and swarm and all compete and rotate. So just a little different energy out there.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you guys. Yep.